Hit the Target podcast.
Hello and welcome to Hit the Target, powered by Hollywood Bets. I'm your host, Deshaj, and with me in studio today are Premier League analysts Keba, Mothoagae, and Nigel Naicker. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Great to be here, Desh.
Let's cut to the chase. It is top half Man United versus top of the table Arsenal at the Theatre of Dreams.
Or as I like to call it, Manchester United's funeral.
Oh my gosh. Nigel, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think we're going to come there in good spirits, so hopefully it is going to be their funeral this weekend.
Yeah.
They're going to bury United. I'm a United fan and they're going to bury us under a lot of goals. Unless something ridiculous happens, which always seems to happen whenever Arsenal comes to Old Trafford.
Yeah.
But this time, Arsenal being like a team of destiny, I think a 3-0, take the points, go back to London.
I see. Well, this fixture has a point to prove. Historically, it's been an important one, and it is a titanic rivalry. You look at two of the greats, Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger. I think it was them who really started this toe-to-toe, and kind of, it's spilled over the years.
100%. I think it was a rivalry that ignited the Premier League.
Yeah.
And we see that as of today, it's two of the biggest clubs in England. And I don't think United fans are happy that Arsenal are successful.
Like I said, it is the result, the rivalry that built the Premier League into the mythos that it is today. Yes, these two teams have fallen away. It's great to see Arsenal back at the top. Just that now United will think, if Arsenal can get back to the top after several years of mediocrity, then what stops them from rising here? But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, you mentioned the word mediocrity, and that perfectly describes United's results of late. I think the draws against Burnley, you look at that game with Coventry where I think they just blew it, and of course Coventry got back in the game, then United went to penalties and of course booked their spot in the final of the FA Cup. But then that hammering by Crystal Palace 4-0, surely they've hit rock bottom.
I'm trying to figure out which result is actually worse, Burnley or Coventry, because Nigel and he's been coming to my desk with his mates and giving me the business, telling me how rubbish United is. But I still think that the draw with Burnley is definitely worse than the implosion against Coventry, because Coventry was the magic, the romance of FA Cup football.
Yeah.
Burnley is gone. They're being flushed down the toilet into the Championship next season. And they still came and gave United a game and should have won that game. Crystal Palace, we knew they were going to slap United. I said 3-1 to Crystal Palace. 4 goals. I was right about 4 goals, but all 4 went into United. You know what I mean?
100%. I think teams come to Old Trafford or they play United knowing that they can get a result from them. They know they have a soft underbelly. Yes, they are missing a lot of key personnel, but teams target United in this moment.
Of course, you mentioned key personnel, some of the injuries, to that fixture against Crystal Palace, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Lisandro Martinez, big name players for Man United.
100%. I think any club will miss those players. They are top players for their club. But in this moment, you expect other players to step up and, show that fight. I don't think you're seeing that from the United players at the moment.
Yeah. With United being the establishment that it actually is, look at the signings that have come through the door. You look at Johnny Evans signing re-signing for Man United under Ten Hag. Casemiro, a Real Madrid, has been.
I think I've seen spaza shops that are run better than I think I've seen spaza shops with more business acumen than United. And like I said, it's symptomatic of where the club has been. I think they're at the moment, United is in cruise control, but for the FA Cup final in a month. Because the important signings have been what's happening in the back room in terms of management, but that's a story for another day. However, like I said, the fact that you look at the personnel and you said, what if Pep had these players? What if Klopp had these players? What if
where would they be on the log? Yeah.
So we might be mad at Erik Ten Hag, but at the same time, it's like a disease. It's like a cancer. There are cancers, tumors everywhere. You don't know where to start and where to end.
Yeah, of course, one of those cancers went by the name of Jadon Sancho. Of course, the man was exodized by Man United, training with the under-18s. I believe he wasn't even allowed to eat with the first team. And look at him now.
Champions League finalist.
Champions League finalist.
I think that's a great example just to show how environments are.
Yeah.
If you look at Manchester United, they're in the worst possible state as a club right now. And you look at Dortmund, they are flourishing. So you take Jadon Sancho out of United's environment, put him into a Dortmund environment, see him.
I think he's picked up back-to-back man of the match performances in the UEFA Champions League.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat that Sancho has made Champions League, the Champions League final this season, and United have won only one Champions League game this season.
Yeah,
so United. I have to say though, United could turn Erling Haaland into a traffic cone. They could literally turn him into a traffic cone, just to give you an idea of how terrible the environment. Sorry to interrupt you, but Nigel, that's how annoyed I am right now.
No, of course you've mentioned Jadon Sancho and what he's done at United, but look at Ten Hag and what he's also done. Would you say Sancho is the cancer, or is Ten Hag the cancer?
Like I said, environment. We don't know where the tumors are, and the biggest criticism for Ten Hag is that he just doesn't seem to get a hold of English football. I'm going back to how he played against Tottenham and Chelsea in previous Champions League encounters with Ajax, where both teams collapsed. They should not have lost or drawn to Chelsea in some Champions League encounter. We still don't know how Spurs went to the Johan Cruyff Stadium to win that epic semi-final 5 years ago. So he just has a problem with how to handle English football. English football, there are no free victories. There are no, somebody just sits on your neck the entire day. And I think that his methods, it's something that will be addressed when Ineos fully takes over that. Chief, what's your story? What is your vision? How do you intend to implement it? And they're going to sit down and look, because now we think that his job is under danger, but we don't know if he's a bad coach or if it's just that he's being let down by the players and the environment that he finds himself in.
Yeah, you mentioned players, and personally being a Man United fan, I think Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford will always be the top two names in that squad. And now you look at Rashford and how he's fallen off his cliff. Of course, last season he was probably the best player at the club, was definitely that for me, and earned himself a 5-year deal. I think it's 300 grand a week.
Yeah, I think he produced one of his best ever seasons last season, and you just don't know where the fall off has come this season. Could be attributed to injuries in the team, not the same personnel around him to make him flourish. But he is a quality player and they need him back to his best. Yeah,
of course, in football, it's a phenomenon that the players need to be happy in order for them to perform on the pitch. And right now, I don't think Marcus Rashford is a very happy man. Do you think his friendship with Jadon Sancho has had something to do with his recent performances? Because, of course, Rashford was underperforming even before Sancho left the club. But, look at the treatment of his friend, his companion, and now where they are.
I'm calling BS.
Yeah.
There has been an issue since that came to the fore when Mourinho took over. Of clicks. Clicks.
Players sticking together, you're saying, in the changing room.
It's happened. And one thing I've noticed above all others is how Ten Hag has fought to shield everybody. He fought for Sancho. That's where, if I could see Sancho, I'd give him a backhand. I'd be like, dude, this man did everything in his power to lift you, and that's a thanks you get. Because
of course, you went public with his spats.
That's what I don't understand. The fact that Ten Hag has been shielded, went out of his way to make sure that, dude, I'm taking you out of the limelight so you get it together. So you can tell that, maybe it's just a culture thing. Because one thing I know about the Dutch, having encountered them or worked with them, is that in terms when they speak English, they are blunt. They're very blunt. Whenever they don't know how to filter, maybe it's not coming across what he's trying to get across in English as opposed to what he would say in Dutch would be. But that's just a supposition. That's just a guesswork. But I know that Dutch people are blunt. They are honest. We've seen Ten Hag. There's a video of him at Ajax where he was giving the business to another player who was not performing, who was not doing as he was told. So now sitting there and blaming Ten Hag for all his weaknesses, it's like, no man, Rashford, you've been shielded. We remember after there was the racism that he endured after a European disaster penalties.
Missing the penalties, of course. Where Sancho and Rashford were both,
people
scrutinized.
The club made it a point that they were like a shield to you from the boosted view. And then he's been through a lot of other things. He's been supported. And we don't understand, if I'm earning £350,000 a week to just burn defenders and score. And this is what we get. It's like, man, the toxicity of United's environment must be out of this world.
Well, of course, United are stacked with wingers. If you look at Rashford, his best season, I want to say, was last year. Or potentially, if you want to call it his season under Mourinho. Yeah. Another season where he played off the wing. He's kind of like a striker who came off the wing and, finished. Look at Sancho now, what he's doing at Dortmund, also on the wing. Plays like Garnacho, Anthony. They do get you up your feet. Do you think Ten Hag can coach wingers like that?
Can I crack a joke? I think there are more wings in the United team than in a KFC bucket. It's just wings, underperforming. It's just like, I don't know, man. Look at that. I think I'll give this one to the neutral.
Yeah.
Maybe he can.
The neutral wearing the Arsenal shirt.
But of course, tell I'm annoyed.
You look at Arsenal, what they're doing with wingers, players like Martinelli, Trossard, Saka, of course, needs no introduction.
100%. I think Saka is the go-to winger. I mean,
currently,
100%. Saka can take it on the outside. He can take it on the inside. You can't mark left foot or right foot. It's so difficult.
Free kicks, penalties as well.
It's so difficult for a fullback to mark Bukayo Saka. You see teams teaming up on them, 2-3 defenders.
He still finds a way.
100%. I think if you look at United in terms of profile wingers, not many come close to Bukayo in that sense. Anthony is very technically secure, but he won't beat his man reliably. I think Rashford has the potential to do it, and he's got a lot of pace, and he has goals. So
you mentioned a keyword over there, reliability, and you look at players like Saka, he can do it week in, week out, over and over again. You look at a player like Anthony and maybe even Rashford, they've had glimpses that they can perform. I think Anthony, when he first started playing for United, he had some incredible record. I think he had a goal every game or something like that. A new signing, he made some record.
Scored against Arsenal at Old Trafford.
Yeah, of course, Everton as well. And now you look at Anthony now, nowhere near that pitch.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a difficult one for him because Premier League teams will work him out. Yeah. If you're only going to chop onto your left foot, they're going to know. If you're not going to take them on, they're going to know you're just going to recycle the ball. So it's been easier for them to work him out. He does need to add some variety to his game.
Ironically, like if you mentioned something technically secure, I was surprised by having him starting as like an inverted striker or a central midfielder because we know he can hang on to the ball and he can spray passes. What if you just take a team, FA Cup final for instance, you beat Pep at his own game, Anthony starts a central attacking midfielder. Just to see what he can do with the ball because it's reached that situation where anything can go right now.
Of course, it's going to be maybe his final few games for United with the, as you mentioned, the new Ineos takeover. Could be very interesting to see if there's a new manager at the helm.
Variety,
Yeah. Nigel, I want to stick with you here. What has been the secret to Arsenal's goals this season? Of course, it's been some time before, you want to count how many they're going to score. Rather, it's 3 or more every game.
I think they've been much more fluid this season.
Yeah.
They also have the foundation to sit back on. I think we're the best defensive team in the league, so that has allowed our attackers to go out and flourish. You also look at how we're sharing the goals. I think we have the most players with 10 plus goals in the league. It's 5. Havertz, Saka, Trossard, Declan Rice.
Yeah.
So
what a signing he's been as well.
100%. So we're sharing the goals, and that's where it's coming from. Arteta's got them attacking really fluidly.
Yeah, of course, this isn't his first rodeo. He's been at Arsenal through some very, very difficult spells. You look at players like Aubameyang being stripped of the captaincy, Mesut Ozil being left out of the Premier League squad. He's made some big calls right now. Do you think he's going to be the one to deliver that elusive Premier League title?
I think he is. I think it's coming. It's around the corner. If it doesn't come this season, it's probably coming next season.
Yeah.
You see it with the trajectory that they're on and the recruitment and the academy. Everything seems to be in the right space at the right time. So we're pushing City for a second season in a row. And
I want to say, do you need a bit of luck to win the Premier League?
I think you do, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the table shows the best team in the league.
Yeah.
And if Arsenal are to lose out, I hope not, but by 2 points, City are the best team in the league.
City are the best team in the league, but Arsenal has been the best team since January.
100%.
And they're the hottest team in Europe, I think, at the moment. And going back to luck, it could play a factor. Man City's playing
Fulham, I believe, yeah.
Fulham just takes one nonsense goal by Fulham to get a draw.
Couple of former Gunners.
Suddenly, we're going into the last again. We've got a last day drama in the Premier League. Right now, I never thought I'd see the day where I want Arsenal to win the league, but it's just great to see that Man City monotony being broken. That I don't want this. Stop at like 3, at least 3. No, not 5. We don't want Arsenal coming to win 5-0 at Old Trafford. But jokes aside, like I said, we are willing. A lot of people are willing Arsenal on just for the drama, for the fact that they were in the situation that United is in. And as you said, dropped Aubameyang, dropped
Big calls, big decisions, and Arsenal board backed the manager as well.
That's where now I say the signings that Manchester United have made are in the boardroom. Imagine somebody saying, there's a headline in May or June, Manchester United willing to listen to offers for Rashford. That's how you turn culture. The culture is wrong.
And it starts at the top as well.
And Arteta took Pep's ruthlessness. You can tell Pep is a ruthless man, and you can tell that he's taken that, and the fact that he's a former Arsenal and he played for City, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's taken that mentality
he didn't.
Not Everton, sorry.
Yeah.
But he was a City assistant
manager.
So he's taken on that mentality that he got from the bald head himself, and it's just a matter of he's instilled that culture, and it's nice to see from the outside looking and saying that it's just a matter of mentality, and if United can approach it, who knows? 2-3 seasons from now.
Well, of course, they do have a new CEO incoming. Of course, Omar Barada, former Man City CEO. Do you think he's going to be the one to change things around?
He comes with 115 problems. I'm not going to say which ones, but like I said, it's a legacy project for... Okay, he built City into the giant that they are.
Yeah.
But we all know that the biggest club in England and in the world, in the English-speaking world, is Manchester United. And imagine I'm Barada. My ego tells me I've come from Barcelona. I've gone to race City to be the best on the planet.
They delivered a treble. They are treble winners.
And now it's like, hey, bro, you've got a free canvas to lift Manchester United to the heights of... Because like I said, I'm just going to sidetrack. If in an ideal world, I could have Florentino Perez to come to United and literally... because you'll know... He's
going to fix everything, yeah.
That's what I'm hoping, that ruthlessness, that I want to win at all costs mentality to United. That's where you never know how quickly it can turn around. Because Nigel, we tend to talk about this, and he said that it shouldn't take long to turn the ship around at Old Trafford. So,
Well, look, some of the decisions, haven't really gone there. Where you look at play like Onana coming in last season, De Gea was the Golden Glove winner. Of course, David Raya has picked that up, but something like that.
They have got their recruitment wrong on a few moments. Look, let's not slate Onana. He's one of the best keepers in the world. I think with some ball-playing defenders, he comes even better and will be the United number 1 going forward. But they have got things wrong in the recruitment space. You look at Casemiro, you look at Anthony. They overpaid for Anthony, honestly. There's a few buys that United will look back and say, hey, guys, we have to get things right going forward. And that's why Omar Barada coming in will be a key cog in there, where it's not left to 1 or 2 people to bring in players. There's a whole committee. There's decisions being made by the director of football, by the manager, by the coach.
But ultimately, the buck stops with the CEO.
It does. But you've got to allow, like, if you look at the structure at Arsenal, it's Edu, it's Arteta, it's Richard Garlick, and they all sit on the committee to bring in a player. If one of them say or has any...
Maybe doesn't vote for the player.
They don't take the player.
Wow.
It has to be a unanimous vote where everyone agrees with them. So these are the things that United will want to implement. They want to implement a transfer strategy. Who are we targeting? Are we targeting players from 20 to 23? Are we targeting strikers? They need to implement this, and that's the only way they'll go forward.
Yeah, okay. One of the signings that came through the door is David Raya, of course. He comes after Aaron Ramsdale was at the helm. Huge changes in the goalkeeping department, and it's borne fruit. Raya has got the Golden Glove.
Yeah, I think Arteta has put his head on the block to make the change.
Mid-season, I think it was earlier than...
Yeah, everyone thought Ramsdale was one of the better keepers, and Arteta risked bringing in David Raya on loan and potentially going to make it permanent by 27 million. But if you look at it, Raya has brought in such calmness to that Arsenal team. He's got the most clean sheets, like you said, and he's claims the most crosses in Europe's top 5 leagues as well. So that box dominance allows Arsenal to go on and flourish. And just you look at Arteta again, going back to the recruitment of Arsenal, those marginal gains that he's brought in. I mean, we are top of the table with 2 games to go. And Raya could be the reason for that. Small marginal gains.
Yeah. Keba, can you see Raya being tested this weekend?
It's Manchester United, so you never know what to expect. I keep seeing these tweets from troll accounts when they want to tell the absolute truth. They've said that United has been a movie.
Yeah.
It's been an entertaining movie. Goes on one end, goes on the other. He's going to be tested.
Yeah.
The problem is what's in the defense, because the thing is you'll only get tested if United's defense holds. Who's coming back this weekend? Because now you've got Casemiro, who's like a freeway. He's a freeway at centre back, and so like I said, like I believe it's going to be 3 goals to Arsenal.
Yeah.
It will be a statement win if Raya has got a free afternoon.
Yeah.
And, it's a statement win. I think maybe Arsenal will be more interested in just getting the points, but it could be one of those where Raya is doing nothing at the back. But we all know the danger that United can pose.
Funny enough, you mentioned 3 goals because the current goal difference is -3. I mean, in May, your goal difference should really not be in the negatives, because this is when titles can be decided, top 4 places can be decided, and top half or not.
Yeah, it's shocking. You can't you can't be labelled as Manchester United and have a goal difference
55
of -3. You in the top half, you scored the least goals in the top half, which is 52. So I mean, these are things that United will have to look back and say, guys, we have to improve on this going forward.
Strike force. What's going to happen next season? Are they going to bring in somebody?
Like we said, it's a matter of recruitment.
Yeah.
And I think we've got the right player in Rasmus Højlund. We're okay. It's just that now maybe if we can, this is me playing FIFA in my head, can have a luxury striker in reserve. But you can tell that this United team is designed to have goals across the entire block, like what Arsenal.
Yeah, very fluid attack, as you mentioned.
Guys, the age of strikers, that's why I say Haaland is a cheat code. The age of strikers is over. Football is no longer producing deadly box strikers who will just bang the goals in. It's a matter of the goals being shared while one person is doing most of the scoring.
Yeah.
So,
let's just stay with Højlund and let's unpack some of his numbers, because United have played in the Champions League, and if I'm not mistaken, in the opening 6 match days, I think Højlund was either the joint top scorer or the outright top scorer in the Champions League. Of course, United didn't go further than at the group stage, which again we should definitely talk about that. But Højlund has proven himself on a European stage. You look at, I think, December, or rather the run to December. 6 in a row. It was magnificent, and then he got injured before the game against Man City.
Can I take this one?
Yeah.
And that was another thing. United was those games were just roller coasters. 4-3, 3-4, 2-2. And going back to that injury, he was the form striker in England at that moment. He gets injured, and at the same time, something we forget to mention: Luke Shaw's injury. Luke Shaw's injury took United out of the top 4 race.
Yeah.
It goes back to recruit.
Probably one of the top 3 wingbacks.
He's our best player. He's United's best player. And
Could have probably said that for the past 3 or 4 seasons.
And every time,
his
like I
injury
said,
has
Dave saves. Dave saves. Come on now.
No. When it's been proven, when Luke Shaw gets injured, which is like round the clock, United's season immediately goes south because of how good he is. So going back to Højlund, he's proven, like we can tell he's a proper goal scorer, and that injury at Luton, I think it was Luton, derailed the top 4 ambitions. So things are okay, and I keep going back to it. What would a Pep or a Klopp have done with this? Because it's like you can't just become rubbish overnight. But I think the likes of Mason Mount, he's been injured as well, so we never got to see much of him. Bruno has just been Brunoing. Like Bruno has stopped. He's been our signing of this decade. Had Manchester United,
I think he's a double contract extension by now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's been the signing of the decade. United would have been finishing in the bottom half of the table. We could have been flirting. We're going to remember him years. Like, dude, you are the right man at the wrong time. Or the champion, or the hero we didn't deserve, but we got. So,
He's an incredible player, actually.
He is top class. I think also you feel a bit hard done by giving his best of years to United in the worst of their years. I think if you put him in that Pep team or probably in that Liverpool team,
dude,
he would just fire. I mean, his stats speak for itself.
And he's a cult hero now. He's a cult hero at United now.
100%.
Yeah, let's talk about Arsenal and their lack of a striker. Of course, Eddie Nketiah was rewarded with a number 14 jersey, which is incredible, really, as well as Gabriel Jesus, number 9. But yet, still in the market for strikers because Kai Havertz is playing there.
I think Kai has been excellent for us. I think he's got all the qualities to be a top striker. He runs the channels, he's got the height, he dominates the box, and now he's adding goals.
Yeah.
I think Eddie is going to be a Premier League striker, if not at Arsenal. He's good enough to go on and play Premier League football. Jesus has been injured, not the best. He's been playing with injury as well. So, I think he's...
Can you see either of them maybe getting a score sheet this weekend?
Yeah, I think Kai Havertz scores this weekend. He didn't score last weekend, so I think he's due a goal, considering his form.
Imagine that. Didn't score last weekend. He's going to score this weekend.
Yeah, if you look at his expected goals, he's on like +2 every game.
That's ridiculous.
To score, and he's been getting goals and assists. So, I back him to score this weekend.
Yeah, all right, Nigel. Well, Keba, I've heard your scoreline prediction 3-0 to Arsenal.
I said, Arsenal is going to win by 2 or more goals.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3-0. United can decide to be Jekyll and Hyde for all we know and knock Arsenal out of the league race, which would be the irony. It would be quite ironic, but it won't happen.
Yeah,
it cannot happen for his sake. It just cannot happen.
Yeah, I think Arsenal fans will come into the game a bit humbled because we know historically we've been very poor at Old Trafford, especially in the league. Just 2 wins in 18 years, but we will go there knowing that we in the best period in that time, and United are in their worst. So mentally, the players have to go there and win at Old Trafford and take City to the last day.
All right.
Building on this, it's like I said with United, it's just a matter of patience. The crumble is going to happen somewhere. That's all Arsenal need to do. Basics, and then the goals start flowing.
Of course. Nigel, your prediction?
I'm going 2-1 Arsenal.
All right. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Both analysts, of course, in studio pointing to an Arsenal victory.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be, I want to say a 2-2 draw. I don't think United lose this one. I think there's too much at stake for Ten Hag because that game against Crystal Palace, I'm not sure if the fans are aware, but they had 9 days of rest before they played Crystal Palace, and then they lost 4-0. What were you doing in the 9 days, It was absolutely shambolic. Of course, there was a bit of fight from the United team. I can't see them losing back-to-back league fixtures, and I hope I'm not wrong about that. But honestly, it is at Old Trafford. It's one of the great rivals. Let's be honest.
100%.
I think Ferguson will be at the ground. I don't think he's going to want to see them lose to Arsenal in the manner in which they lost to Crystal Palace. So I think that they actually either I'm going to take them on a double chance, to be honest.
I just don't see it happening.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be negative, for the sake of being negative, but Manchester United has been here before.
Yeah.
Remember the back end of Rangnick's
career,
I've seen this before.
Yeah.
But the only thing United, I think, is an autopilot. The pilot will take control against Man City in the FA Cup final. But
All right, football fans, it's been an absolute pleasure discussing all things Premier League related. Of course, we have a big fixture to keep an eye out this weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks.
Hit the Target Podcast.